lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared.
Damn!
And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Now, how do we get rid of this? What did I do?
I don't know what you did.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you are joining us, we are about to preview 30 Days of Night. And like I said, I am really looking forward to this movie.
Me too.
What do you remember about 30 Days of Night?
I remember it freaking me out. It actually scared me. And I felt nervous through the entire thing watching it. Like it was good. Like it made you worried.
Yeah. I remember it being very different from most other vampire movies. Like I remember the
Mhm.
cast was phenomenal.
Oh, so good. So good.
Tons of violence, tons of gore.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said before, that isolation is always fun, and winter isolation is even funner.
100%.
Like
It really is.
The Thing, The Shining, Whiteout, I See You, Wind Chill, Ravenous the Grey, Tremors 6, A Cold
Yep.
Day in Hell. Yeah. Actually, those are all movies we should probably
Put
watch.
them on the list.
But so let's go over some box office. So it was released on October 19th, 2007. Did you go to the theater and watch this, or did you rent it?
No, I rented it.
I did too. I didn't go to the theater to see this. I should have went to the theater and saw this.
I know, me too. I'm really mad about that.
Yeah. It opened in first place on a budget of 30 million. It opened to 15.9. It closed domestically with 39 and just a little over half a million. Internationally, it did almost 36 million, so it made 75 million. So there it made some money.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely would have made money on rentals and DVD sales. And I believe I did own this at one time. I lost all my DVDs
Oh, that sucks for you.
Yeah, there was a lot of them. Although watching DVDs now on certain TVs suck.
Understandable.
All right, so let us go to the tail of the tape. If I can find it, it's around here somewhere.
You look for it every time.
I know. All right. 30 Days of Night is a 2007 horror, mystery, and thriller, rated R, and comes in at a pretty hefty for a horror movie, 1 hour and 53 minutes.
Dang.
Which I do not remember being bored watching this movie.
It did not feel long to me before.
No. Here's hoping.
Right.
Taglines. You don't have to buckle up. They're coming.
I mean,
they are.
accurate.
They're not coming. Welcome to Barrow, Alaska. Inhabitants. And then it has a scratch number 588 is scratched out, and then 15 is written up on the top of that. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, they didn't need much.
Here is the synopsis. In the far northern hemisphere, the small town of Barrow, Alaska, experiences a solid month of darkness every year. Though most of the residents head south for the winter, some townspeople remain behind. However, those that stay regret their decision when, one year, hungry vampires descend on a barrow to feed. Sheriff Eben, Josh Hartnett, his wife, Melissa George, and a dwindling band of survivors must try to last until dawn breaks over Barrow's month-long twilight. And the movie poster, I do not like. I don't like the movie poster. I
love it.
I think people that now just this was in North America.
Yeah.
and just for people that are listening, it says 30 Days a Night. It's kind of written strangely, and it's on a black background, and built into that is a vampire looking up to the sky screaming, and it's red on top of it with black splatter. It looks like a comic book. And I get that's what they were trying to do. Other more foreign countries got this because it's 30 jours de nuit.
De nuit.
De nuit.
30 jours de nuit.
Language is not my friend. But I like this one. For those listening, it is the two main characters standing in the middle of a street, the town on the sides, and you can see vampires up on the top. I like this one a little better. The other
Nah,
one's
man.
cool as a comic book, and for people that are really into it, I think this one would have appealed more to mainstream.
See, but I felt like the other one captures like, you still have the vampire face in the
Yep.
international one,
Yeah.
but this one captures just the fear and the scream of the vampires, like, that's why I was like, "This is wonderfully terrifying because this is exactly what they're facing." The other one, while still good, like, very it definitely tells more of the story of the movie, so
Mm,
you feel a little bit more like, "Oh, okay, this is a picture of what the movie is." Whereas the other one, you don't get a picture of what the movie is, you just know there's a terrifying vampire in there.
yeah. Okay. 30 Days a Night has 158 critic reviews, and it comes in at 51%.
That
So,
feels low.
yeah, it looks like it was almost split right down the middle. 250,000 audience reviews has at 56%. And the critic consensus is while 30 Days of Night offers a few thrills, it ultimately succumbs to erratic execution. At 158 critic reviews, there's a lot to go through.
Okay.
This is The Fresh.
It would be fun to rent with friends who talk back to movies and imbibe a little ETOH to facilitate the witty comebacks. Compared to the other Halloween offerings out there this year, 30 Days of Night is really pretty decent value for your money. Karina Montgomery, Cinerina, original score 3 out of 5.
A blissfully mean spirited and aggressively creepy terror tale, and one that's not content to simply rest on its one good concept. Scott Weinberg, The Horror Show.
It certainly does entertain, particularly for those who consider a man chopping off the head of one of his friends entertaining. Twice! Joe Blow. Joe Blow's Movie Network original score 7 out of 10. 30 Days of Night strikes out a nerve jangling, bloodily unpredictable route to a truly stunning ending that's well worth the wait. And Kelly, BBC.com, original score 4 out of 5.
Must be a UK word. It's not quite torture porn, but there are lots of flying body parts to play with. And that flying body parts fan base is really going to have a good time with it. Eric Lirio, Entertainment Insider's original score 3 out of 4.
Fantastic.
All right. Rotten. A lot of these ones
Let's go.
too. Concept, excellent. Setup, intriguing. Execution, well, too many interesting ideas bungled. Michael W. Phillips Jr., Goat Dogs Movies, original score 2 out of 5.
Overall, the film is freaky and gruesome enough to keep horror fans thrilled, especially as the monsters get stronger, faster, badder, and nuttier. Rich Klein, Shadows on the Wall, original score 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's not a bad review.
That's not a bad review.
No.
Director David Slade is clearly of the opinion that more is more. So there is lots of blood, lots of gore, and lots of vampires in black coats standing around as if auditioning for a remake of the Michael Jackson Thriller video. Peter Bradshaw, Guardian, original score 2 out of 5. Okay, that one was a little harsh.
Yeah, that one's a little harsher.
A little harsh.
They are counting the number of days to the sun, and I was counting the number of minutes to the end. Cheryl Dawson and Leanne Pallone, themoviechicks.com, original score 1.5 out of 5. See the movie for the vampires, which are at least visually interesting. The humans are so boring, I couldn't wait for them to die. Robert W. Butler, Kansas City Star, original score 2 out of 4. Final analysis: vampires cool, humans suck. Go read the comic. Beth Acamendo, kpbs.org.
About as scary as Count Chocula. Peter Keogh, Boston Phoenix, Original score 1.5 out of 4.
I have pretty much reached my quota for vampire movies, but I shouldn't hold that against this one. If you haven't seen too many, you might like it. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, original score 2.5 out of 4. Again, that's not that bad of a.
No.
Yeah. All right. So now we go to IMDb, which has 184,000 user ratings, which I think is the highest we've done for our movies. Yeah, with a little more positive 6.6 out of 10. So let's do the 10 through 6 positive user ratings.
Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Lebowski do. Honorable mention, no sparkling, twinkling vampires in this film. Psycho Beard, 666.
Yeah, Twilight.
Fuck Twilight.
An excellent, inspired, and supremely unsettling vampire horror knockout. 9 out of 10, Woody Anders.
Only had to get one thing right, and it does. 8 out of 10, Damian Phelps.
It's Barrow, Alaska. Where are all the Eskimos? 7 out of 10, MQL 5184.
We don't call them Eskimos anymore.
No, but I think this was back in 2000.
Yes, well, still. Don't give it the cold shoulder. 6 out of 10, Barren Blood.
Barren Blood. Oh, now we're going to do 5 through
Mm,
1. These are the bad ones. Maybe my expectations were just a little too high. Smells like cheese. 5 out of 10.
that's not bad. Not atrocious, but ends up in a corner and uses stupidity to get out. 4 out of 10, M. Bunge.
Watching this movie felt like 30 days of crap. 3 out of 10. Black is my love.
That's fun. Count Crapula of the Arctic. 2 out of 10, Craig McPherson.
Be very afraid. Oh, I meant to say disappointed. 1 out of 10, Glenn's Noise. And that is our IMDb.
Fantastic.
Ah, good old IMDb,
God, I love this
where
guy.
everyone can be a critic. Okay, the only thing left to do is the trailer. Now I do have it somewhere. All right, here we go.
We need you at the station.
Copy that.
Board the windows. Try to hide. They're coming.
They? Who are they? I saw them.
These
They were vampires, you know?
vampires don't exist, Jake.
That cold ain't the weather. That's death approaching.
They're tearing through everyone's home.
We can last the month.
So dramatic.
Ooh. When I watched the beginning, I'm like, I don't know why I always go to this, but yeah, again, I wouldn't be going after my wife. I'm like, all right, kids, get in the car. We're leaving.
That's a terrible thing. You can't just get in the car and leave. You gotta
No.
fly out from that fucker.
Yeah. I don't know. I got 5 kids. I could probably make it to the airport. Just every couple miles, throw one out the door.
Like breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. So, what are our predictions for the movie?
I think I'm gonna love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna love it. I was gonna say while we're doing the trivia, which can only be seen live every Wednesday at 9 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter.
Mhm.
Um, I was gonna say, trying to
Jesus.
plug us. With all that different trivia that we were going through, I
Mhm.
would like to maybe look for a Blu-ray that has some behind the scenes. I wouldn't mind watching, especially the day to night process, the way they use
Mhm.
salt and snow, the way they recorded that stuff. That might be really cool to look at. But yeah, I have really high hopes for this movie.
I have really high hopes, and I really, really hope that I remember it well, because I remember loving this movie,
Yeah.
and I remember it made such an impression on me that when I did see it on Netflix again, I was like, "Well, shit, I haven't seen that in forever," and it was so good. And then I remember still loving it when I watched it again. So
Yeah.
now I'm like, "Please let me still love it," but I really do think I will love it.
Yeah. The trailer looks cool.
Yeah,
Everything about it looks cool. I'm wondering why I haven't seen it in so long. Because I probably 2010 might have been the last time I saw it. In that area, I can't
it's been
obviously
hard to
pinpoint it.
find. It's been hard to find,
Yeah.
not only in DVDs, but also streaming services and things like that. It's been 'cause I couldn't find it on a streaming service for years, and then
Well,
all
it's
of a
done by
sudden
Columbia and Sony, I think, which doesn't
yeah,
have a streaming service.
no. So when it popped up on Netflix, I was like, "Fantastic," and it was there for maybe 6 months to a year,
Yeah.
and then it disappeared again, and I couldn't find it on anything else, and so I was pissed.
Yeah. No, if I have to spend money, it might be worth buying.
Yeah.
It might be worth, but fucking did that with Anaconda. Didn't even have any behind the scenes. No specials on Paul Cerrone.
I think I might have this on DVD. Gonna have to look through my DVDs, see if I have it.
See, we watched a DVD a couple weeks ago on. I have pretty expensive mid-range.
Mm,
To me, that's expensive in the middle. But the DVD looks it didn't look very good. And that was a shame.
it's really funny because now when I was watching Urban Legend, I realized I was like, "This DVD," and I was like, "Holy shit, one side is widescreen and one of them is not.
Oh,
It's
full
television
screen. Yeah.
format." So, like, it's 16:9 and then one's 4:3, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. You should have
'Cause
watched it
now
in 4:3. Would have been horrible.
honestly well, no, there's still some TV shows that I watch.
Yeah.
Um, I think the early seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer were in 4:3.
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah.
reformat to be widescreen, but you can tell it's been reformatted, and
Yeah.
then, like, Star Trek Voyager and Star Trek: The Next Generation, when I watch reruns, I'm like, "Holy shit, our TVs used to be square."
Yeah. Yeah.
That was full screen, but yeah, no, it depends on the movie and how they filmed it and what their post process was,
Yeah.
because some of them, they never got remastered, and you need to remaster, unfortunately, if you
See,
film
Anaconda, like I said when we did Anaconda, its transfer was not that great.
yeah,
Yeah, I would have been better off paying the $15 to buy or $10, whatever it was,
mhm,
to buy the HD digital,
yeah.
because the Blu-ray I got was just horrible.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, cause
Like, I actually
going
took it out because it came with the DVD as well. I took it
yeah.
out and I'm like, "Is this the DVD?" No, it was the Blu-ray. I was pissed.
Well, now we have TVs that literally show you everything,
Yeah,
not just because of the size, but because of the quality and the sharpness of it.
yeah,
So, what used to look sharp and look great, because at the time it was the highest technology, now you're like, "God, this was so shitty. We thought this was good,"
yeah.
but you didn't know it until,
No, living in
you
the dark
watched it on
ages.
your 55-inch 4K. Oh god, 4K.
Yeah, I have a 65 4K.
Jesus Christ.
I also have a 58 4K.
Those are giant.
Not big enough. I want bigger. More. More. Bigger 4K. I'm surprised I haven't heard like from upstairs. No, no more 4K.
It's already huge. Why do you want bigger?
Yeah, my wife's like, this is like intrusive. I'm like, no, it's
Yeah.
awesome. It's like awesome.
Oh man. It's disconcerting.
All right. Well, we are going to go watch. What are we going to watch?
30 Days of
30
Night.
Days of Night. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we
still a
are.
little sick. And then when we get back, we are going to review it.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat. And then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
Okay, so welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. We are so happy you came back. I have watched 30 Days of Nights. Have you watched 30 Days of Night?
I have.
Okay, we're going to switch things up here. We're going to dive right into this blood-soaked massacre of a film because there was a lot of blood and it was a massacre.
Now, when you say massacre,
There was a lot of death on this
oh,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
all kinds of death.
Oh, lots of death, lots of blood.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to start going through it. Okay, so the town of Barrow, Alaska, is preparing for its annual 30 Days of Night, a period during the winter in which the sun will not be seen for a month. During our trivia segment, which is only on our live recordings every Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, we learned that Barrow, now called a different name, I'm not even going to attempt to butcher it again. It is actually without sun for 67 days a year. That would be really cool to see. But I digress. Sorry. Some inhabitants leave for Fairbanks or other parts south. As the town gets ready, the stranger, Ben Foster, comes ashore from a large ship. Once in Barrow, he sets about sabotaging the town, stealing and burning cell phones, killing all the sled dogs, in the belief that the vampires will make him one of them if he helps them with their plans. Great opening.
I love this opening so much.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. Like they do a little bit of the like, okay, here's a little bit of the story of the town of Barrow, and then all of a sudden you see the expansive snow and
Yeah.
this one guy walking through it, and you're like, you're really nailing this whole. It's very isolated. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There is no help. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. And it's not even dark yet. Like the sun hasn't set, but
No.
very atmospheric, very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And very subtle, a subtle way
Yes.
that they did it. Yeah, it looks great. The score is already setting the tone.
Mm-hmm. The
At
score
this,
for the entire movie is just amazing.
yes, yeah,
So good.
it is a good score. Like at this point, I'm very excited. Barrow's sheriff Eben Olson investigates all these crimes, and as he does so, he learns that his estranged wife Stella Olson missed the last plane out of town and will have to spend the 30-day period in Barrow. We get Eben and Deputy Billy check in on the crime of the stolen melted cell phones. They
Mm-hmm.
head back. We see the dogs freaking out in the kennel. They get a call something is wrong at the dog kennel
Yeah.
farm, whatever it is, the sleigh dog shop. Uh,
Sleigh dog shop.
we also see Stella trying to get her work done in town so she can catch that last plane and not
Mhm.
run into her estranged husband. Eben also gives a citation to Bo, the
Yes.
snowplow driver, if only, and he says to remind him that he is actually part of this
Yeah.
small community. So we're being introduced to all these characters. The
It's
pilot,
setting the scene. It really
yeah,
is introducing you to absolutely everybody who's in town,
yeah,
what their roles are, how they interact with each other. It's a really, really great, well-paced. Like, it
yes,
doesn't feel overly slow. It doesn't feel like you're being rushed through the introductions
yeah,
and you're given like expository information about every character and you're like, I didn't need to know that. It's very much like an introduction, a joke, a laugh, a quick note. Like, why do you even bother giving him a citation?
yeah,
He lives out on the South Ridge. It's just a nice way to remind him that he's still part of town. And you're like, oh yeah, that was a natural conversation.
yeah. And Ben Foster, the stranger, is doing all these things, and Billy and Eben are checking it out and introducing us to these characters. Like I said, the pilot and Carter, who runs, I don't even know what that place is called. The big place.
The isn't it the refinery?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because there's the main refinery that's in town. That's the really big place.
Well, it's yeah, because someone took the plane parts or the helicopter parts and dumped them, and they were destroyed at this place. It went through that
Oh,
grinder
I think
thing.
that was the garbage recycling thing.
Yeah. Okay.
The lu Oh
I want to
god.
say the Utidor or the Utilidor or
It's
something.
Utilidorm,
Yeah. Okay.
something like that. It was
Yeah.
Utila something, but that's their utilities thing where they do the recycling and the garbage and all of that stuff because they don't have a landfill out there.
No. Oh, can you imagine the polar bears they would attract?
Oh, Jesus.
Apparently, they're even meaner than the regular bears.
They really
Um,
are.
yeah,
They will rip your face off.
yeah. Apparently, they're not nice at all.
Mm-mm.
I've heard many a horror story of polar bears,
Coca-Cola
and they
lied
look
to
yeah,
us.
they look so cute in those Coca-Cola
I know, right?
commercials.
These fuckers lying to us about polar bears.
Although they try to avoid one another, when Eben confronts the stranger in the town diner, Stella helps to subdue him and take him to the station house. So the stranger, and again played by Ben Foster, is one of my favorite actors. He's very I don't know if he's considered underrated, but he's a great actor.
He's
And
definitely considered a character actor.
yes, and Billy made sure that the last plane was gone. That she didn't catch the plane, and the stranger, kept saying that there was nothing that was going to help them out of
Yeah.
town. We also see the town of 500 plus go down to 150 when Billy changes the population on the "Welcome to Borough" sign.
Mhm.
So we get an idea that there are a lot of people. But there's still, I think it was like 158 or something like that.
Yeah. And
Uh,
it's interesting to I love that because I didn't realize how important that point would be
mhm.
because you see it and you're like, "Oh, 158, okay, cool." And then you see how many people actually survive by the end of this movie and you're like,
Yeah,
"Wow,
yeah.
they
Uh,
take everybody out."
and then before this at the diner, we also see Stella racing to catch the plane. She gets
Mm.
into that accident, the fender bender. Eben had to go out and check on the dog, so he sent Billy. I would have been a little more pissed at Billy because Billy missed that plane on purpose.
Yes. Yes, he did, and I do not appreciate Billy doing that, but
Yeah,
then again, spoiler alert, Billy is not one for making good decisions in this movie.
no, no. And then we also find out there was a lot of dogs that were killed. It wasn't a
Mm,
couple dogs; there were quite a few dogs.
every dog.
Yeah,
Every dog died.
yeah. From the jail cell, the stranger taunts Eben, Stella, and Eben's teenage brother Jake and his grandmother, telling them that the death is coming for them. Just then, vampires attack the local telecommunications center and power supply, rendering the town dark and cut off from the outside world. Eben goes to the telecommunications center and finds the operator's head on a spike. Great first kill. It didn't
Fantastic.
show a lot. Like you saw
Mm-mm.
the figures kind of buzzing around and kind of surround him, and they were running in and out of frame, but they were out of focus, and it was shot quick shots from different angles, and it was kind of disorienting seeing it, but
Yeah.
it was well done. Um,
For the first few kills, from the dogs to telecommunications guy on a spike to oh god, who died right after that? I think I made a
uh,
note about it, but anyways, the first few kills, you don't see oh yeah, and the refinery workers.
yeah,
You don't see who's doing the killing.
yeah,
You
you get
see
there's a
shapes.
group.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know there's a group, you know they're moving fast, and you know that they're like people size, they're not animals,
no,
or at least they're walking on two legs. So there's still a lot of an air of mystery to who's doing this.
yeah,
It's not like they're just strutting into town or they give you you still get the gore, you still get the almost surprise kill
yep,
because you don't necessarily see everything, like especially the refinery worker. They literally just tossed him out while he was choking on his own blood, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
look at I forgot about you."
and it's like when he's surrounded, you see something cut his throat and
Yep.
jump on him,
Mhm.
and because this not it wasn't in the plot. Those three workers, refinery workers, the residential swingers, are trying to decide who's home to go to have a three-way. Excellent choice to spend 30 days in the dark
I
if you're
mean,
if that's your thing.
what else are you gonna do? What else?
And here I am, the square. I'd be catching up on my Netflix movies and shit while they're having sex
Okay.
parties.
I'd probably just be reading my books. So, I mean, It's fine.
But it was a great kill because they are literally standing together talking about, doing each other, and they were playing paper, rock, and scissors.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pulled away so fast that the other two are like, "Where the fuck did Frank go?" His name wasn't
Yep.
Frank. I don't
No.
remember his name. It doesn't matter because he drops out of the air and like, he's still choking on his own
I
blood.
think his name was Gabe,
Oh, could have been, yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. I
Now
just
his dumbass friend goes to help him, and then Denise, my spiritual animal, is like, "Fuck that," and just bolts.
honestly, when she starts running and you see her run,
Oh, she's gone.
like she
Didn't
takes
even check
off.
to see if he's
Nope.
okay.
She
Nope.
does not look back. She does not pause.
Nope.
She doesn't like run while looking. No, fuck that shit. She's
Yeah.
like, nope, and dashes out of there. And the guy just stands there
Yeah, checking to
and
see,
watches
like,
her run. And
yeah,
my first thought was, you're a fucking moron.
yeah. She didn't know what happened, but whatever did happen, she knew it
She
was
knew it was
bad
bad. Yep.
and that she needed to get the fuck out. Yeah, he's like, "Are you okay, buddy?" Nope,
Yeah,
not her.
he went to go and she was like, "Nope, bye."
She doesn't even see if the second guy got killed, but when she gets to that
Nope.
diner, she's like, "Yeah, they both those bitches are
Yep.
dead." So,
She wasn't sticking around to find out, and
no.
this is why she's a smart one.
Yes. Yes, very smart. So yeah, the kills so far are great. Um he and Stella, Eben and Stella go through town, warning all the Wrens to lock themselves indoors and load all weapons. This is the plot.
Mhm.
Actually, okay, so it missed something. The women in the kitchen, the couple who own the dogs, he's
Yes.
all upset, sitting with his gun in the living room. She's like, "Come eat." A vampire jumps through the window. This is our first real good look at the vampire.
Mhm.
He takes her out and grabs her and jumps out the window. Husband comes into the kitchen and sees her being taken out. Like an idiot, goes after her. Like I said when I watched the trailer, I'd be in the car with my kids.
I know.
Well, the
I
ones
know
that were
you would.
fast enough to follow me.
If
Uh,
they weren't
uh,
in there by the time you put it into gear,
yeah,
they're gone.
they're
That's it.
gone.
Nope, no more.
No, we lost them. They're done. But she's being dragged under the houses because up there they don't have basements. They're on those
Mhm.
stilts. I guess that far north you can't have basements. And
No, because you're literally building usually on top of permafrost, and that's also why
yeah,
they have to be on the stilts. Otherwise, you won't be able to heat your home because 'cause it'll stay cold.
yeah.
These are random things that I know. How do I know this? Because after I watched this movie the first time, I decided I wanted to move to Alaska for a bit, or just the Arctic. I was
Witness
literally,
that.
like, looking for jobs. I'm like, "How far north can I go while still having some" like, if Indigo can still deliver to my house, how far
Yeah.
north can I
Yeah.
go?
How far does Netflix reach?
I think this was even before this was
Oh,
before
this would have been before Netflix. Yeah.
streaming
Streaming
Netflix.
Netflix.
It was
How
it
far
was
will
the time
Netflix
of
deliver
yes.
DVDs? But I loved how the vampire was dragging her under, pulling her out, and throwing her under the next house, and so
Mhm.
on to confuse or lose the husband with the gun. And the husband tries. He really does. Like,
He does. Points for that.
better man than me.
Correct.
I'd still be at that kitchen window. Honey,
You'd be boarding up that kitchen window. Who
are
are
you
you
co-
kidding?
are you coming back?
You would not be calling nobody. Don't even
No.
lie.
No, I
You'd
wouldn't be
be like,
lying.
"Nope, better cover this window now."
Yeah, I'd be like Denise. "Oh, fuck that. Something bad's happening." Meanwhile, the vampires. Okay, and what causes? Because he goes out and sees the guy on the spike, comes back, is mad at the stranger,
Mhm.
and then him and Stella go out to check. I think go look for Billy or something. To where something where Billy was heading, just slightly out of town, and that's when they stopped, got out of the truck, and then she looked. Did she have binoculars?
I feel like she did.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Get in the car," because
Yeah.
she saw the vampire running at them,
Yes.
and that's when it jumped and they realized, and then they were like, "Okay, everybody, get in your house, arm your weapons." So far, again, movie's great. Like I am really digging it.
I was having a great time through this movie because I don't it was amazing how they set the pace and everything was just enough to, like, ratchet up your anxiety just a touch.
Yeah,
So that by the time you got halfway through the movie, you were an anxious ball of nerves and you didn't even realize you got there until you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, don't do that. Don't go there. Why would you do that?" Then you're like, "Oh, you're gonna die."
Meanwhile, the vampires, led by Marlowe, attack the town. The vampires speak in an ancient guttural
Uh-huh.
language, clarified by subtitles. Unless they are shot in the head, bullets are useless against them. They slaughter most of the town, including Emma's grandmother, while the remaining survivors congregate at the diner. There were a lot of complaints and negative reviews about the excessive gore or the repetitive killings. I did not get that feeling.
The whole point was to drive across that these vampires are violent.
Yeah,
They
animal. They're not
Yeah,
romantic vampires.
this is not
These are
strategic.
creatures. They're
They're literally
monsters.
like it's a buffet for them.
Yeah,
That's what they're looking at this town as. It's a cut-off town that's in darkness for 30 days. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. They are not there for, like, a 10-course civilized meal. They're
yeah,
like, "Nah, man, we're just gonna go in and go nuts."
yeah,
And you get that vibe where there is no discretion. Like, they just go in full force.
yeah,
And that you're supposed to see that because you're supposed to see that nobody gets spared.
yeah,
That's the point.
yeah. And when the vampires full out go after the town, what a spectacular over the head shot. The amount of
Mhm.
planning, stunt work, it was so amazingly choreographed. It is a highlight of any horror movie. I thought it was spectacular. Like
That aerial shot was fucking stunning.
people running out of their houses, people
Yes.
being attacked on balconies, ripped out of cars, cars driving into whatever, vampires jumping, people losing limbs. One long continuous shot overhead going down the entire main street. Yeah, that too much gore. Like
It was
piss off, you
so
babies.
well, that's the whole point. You're supposed to see the gore, you're supposed to feel the gore because this is not a serial killer movie. Like,
No,
it's not
it's a
planned
massacre.
killings, it's a massacre.
Yeah,
But when they were doing the overhead shot, I even realized this. I was like, "The screams are muted, like, they're not super loud." So I was like, "It really is." So you're flying above this scene, get it in your head, this is what's happening, but you feel kind of almost detached from it.
yes,
So great. It
yeah,
was such a and it makes you even more anxious because 'cause
yeah,
you're like, "I can't help these motherfuckers.
yeah.
Nobody can."
And there's so much going on.
Mhm.
Like I could watch that a few times. Like it was just a very fun um
Yeah.
scene. And yeah, I didn't it's supposed to be violent, not too much gore. I think Twilight is streaming over at
You're
Prime for all the
you're
rest of
really
the
taking
girls.
that, like, super personal. Did you just say for the rest of the girls?
Yeah, but by girls I
Sir.
mean, well, girls. No.
Sir.
You like Twilight. Oh,
I hate
side note,
Twilight with a fiery passion.
the director of this movie
Mhm.
directed one of the Twilight movies after this.
Poor thing.
Yeah,
Well,
which
actually, here's the thing, the movies
I'm sure he made lots of money.
oh, 100%. The movies are better than the books. I only
Yeah, I've
managed to
heard that.
read one of the books, and it took me 3 days to read, and normally a book like that, I can finish in an afternoon, but it took me 3 days because I had to keep putting it down because I was literally raging at how shitty the writing was.
Yeah,
Like, I was just like, there's so many superlatives, and it's basically a love story about an abusive relationship, and I was like, "This is fucked up."
yeah,
Um, and the girl just kinda always nods, and Bella, whatever the fuck her name is, she keeps nodding and saying, "Yes. Yes!" And you're just like, "No, you fucking fool." This is all very weird and uncomfortable. I don't know why you're so into it. Also, vampires don't sparkle. I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care what the fuck you vampires do not sparkle. This is a hard and fast rule.
yeah, that yeah. I I've
So,
seen the
Madam Twilight,
Twilight
go fuck
movies.
yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've seen a few of them, and every time
I
I've
have
rolled
not
my
read the
eyes.
books.
I read
I
one
know
book.
I've heard that it's a hard read, but I was actually talking to a writing friend, and she was saying that when she's just finishing a book and she was talking with her editor, and her editor made her redo a bunch of stuff. Her publisher wants her to write it and read for a grade 8 reading level because that is now the average. I don't want to say intelligence, but that is where the
Mm.
average reading is at. And they needed she needed to, like, dumb down her book
Here's the
because we're
thing.
stupid.
You can write it. at a grade 8
Yes,
reading
and it
level
doesn't.
and still
Yeah,
have it be good.
yes,
This was a load of shit.
yeah,
Like, I was like, "Who edited did you just give up?" The editor must have given up a quarter of the way through and said, "It's a pile of shit.
yeah.
It's a pile of shit."
And she's made so much money.
And it
Never mind
breaks
the
my
movies, the
motherfucking heart.
books, the
The
how.
books. The books sold so
Oh,
well. And I was like, "Who the fuck is reading this shit?" And everybody's like, "It's a love story." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's a story about an abusive relationship, a controlling boyfriend who and a girl who has no mind of her own. I would not want my children reading this." But anyways, vampires don't sparkle. They do
yes.
not sparkle.
I believe that was one of the reviews that we saw. There was no sparkling vampires in this movie.
Yes.
The vampires attack Eben and Stella, but Bo Brower, the local snowplow driver, rescues them. Everyone decides to go to the boarded up house of someone who had left town earlier that day. Actually, they go to the diner first, and Eben
Mhm.
realizes his brother Jake made it. Grandma, not so lucky. Then they come up with the plan to make it to this house because it had a hidden attic and it was hard to
Mhm.
see. The house has a hidden attic. Oh, there we go. The house has a hidden attic where they are able to hide. Marlo finds the stranger in the jail and assures him that they will take care of him. Then, rather than turning him into a vampire as the stranger wished, Marlo kills him.
Mhm.
That's not good for word of mouth advertising.
Well, they don't need word of mouth advertising
No. But
because they
obviously, going to
make
be
all these
more humans.
promises
Yeah.
and then kill them off.
Yeah. While I love the whole town massacre scene, I will say, as someone who appreciates budgeting your groceries and planning your meals, they seem to be a little greedy at the beginning. Like they must have known that it wasn't an endless supply. But
Um,
it did look like they did save some humans. Like they did keep some around, but they didn't need to eat so much so fast.
well, here's the thing, we don't know how much was eaten. We don't know if they're storing them somewhere.
Yeah, they could have been
We don't
bloodletting them
know
out. Yeah.
if, like, eating a whole person, lets them stay full for, like, a week.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
taking them somewhere and bottling them.
yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like watching like people at a buffet filling up on bread and potatoes.
Eat the money. Always eat the money.
Yeah. Marlowe orders the vampires not to transform anyone into a vampire. They will slaughter the town and then disappear in order to preserve modern humanity's belief that vampires are only bad dreams and nothing more.
Mhm.
Over the next week, Eben, Stella, Jake, and 7 others stick it out in the attic. During this time, a stray survivor walks by crying for help, being used as bait by the vampires. Eben ventures out to help her, finding John in the crawl space under the building. This was the guy at the beginning whose wife was taken out the window, the guy who had the dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
And the girl that was killed was one of Jake's, the Eben's brother, one of his friends from school.
Mhm.
I believe that's what he said. As the girl, having been unsuccessful in luring any survivors to her, is attacked and killed by the vampires. Eben attempts to help John. However, he discovers that John had become a vampire and ends up killing him. It is because of this that he learns that beheading the vampires will kill them. Shortly after, Wilson and his senile father, Isaac, are lost when they leave the house in which they had been hiding. This old nitwit.
No, you don't talk about Isaac like that,
I
okay?
knew you.
You
I
don't
knew you
talk
were going
about
to
Isaac
defend
like that.
Isaac.
I'm
How did
not.
I know Anna was going to defend Isaac?
The man has dementia, okay?
He has
He
been a
can't
problem
help it.
since the get-go.
Look, we all knew he was gonna die because he had to die because he has dementia. The dementia guy's not gonna live through this. When you have to be quiet and still and pay attention, dementia guy's not gonna live. We know this,
I
but
totally saw
it's
you running out
still
after him, like the
sad.
pilot.
I'm not even gonna lie, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Me, on the other hand,
Like, don't get me wrong, when I saw Wilson running out, I was like, "Dude, I get it." But I was like, because I know how hard it is to wrangle someone with dementia. How you gonna do that in an
yeah,
attic for an
yeah,
extended period of time? It's almost impossible. So I was like, "No, Isaac, don't go." And then I was like, "Oh, right, he runs out the window." I was like, "Aw."
yeah,
Yeah, no, he dead.
yeah. See, I would have been using it as bait even before I realized they were vampires. Like,
Yeah, because
send them out, walk in the middle of the street, see what happens. Is it zombies? Is it a virus? Looters? Vampire
'Cause you're a dick.
Antifa.
You're a dick.
The
I would have at
point is,
least tried to keep him alive for a little bit, but I mean, if he was running out, I'd be like, "Sorry, buddy."
yeah, I definitely wouldn't be going looking for him. No, no, let him go. There's no stopping him. Yeah, if it was my dad, no. Well,
You're
actually, my real dad left when I was 2, so I wouldn't have a dad in this movie or any movie for that matter, so
See, I would have a dad, and thankfully, my dad doesn't have dementia, so he'd live
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
because
if he
he's
could be
totally comfortable sitting down and keeping quiet.
yeah, yeah, just yeah, give him some crosswords.
Oh, 100%.
When a blizzard hits, Eben and the others use the whiteout conditions to make it to the general store. There, a young girl vampire named Macy attacks and wounds one of them. She is then grabbed and screams in horror until she is decapitated by Jake with an axe, causing her severed head to fall off and her headless body to fall away. Again, great scene.
Mhm.
The little girl eating the mother or whoever.
No, just the random woman because
Yeah,
they realize in that scene, they're like, "Does anybody recognize her?
yeah,
No, she's not from here." And then they realize they're like, they brought her.
yeah.
They
I'm
turned
done
a little
playing with
girl.
this one.
Right?
Creepy,
That was
creepy
fucking
little
creepy as
bastards.
shit. And then she was like a strong little thing, so
Yeah, well, she's a
tossing them
vampire.
around. I
Now,
know.
see, this is where I am useful in a horror situation like this because I would not have a problem chopping the kid's head off like this.
This is true.
Yeah,
This is true. You would not pause, you would not hesitate.
no,
You'd just start swinging.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just say it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Why am I chopping this kid's head off? But the kid's head's rolling off. Didn't even know it was a vampire. Yeah.
Jeez.
The whiteout conditions. Oh, and it's Carter that got um
Yes.
bit. Yeah. The whiteout conditions end, preventing them from making it back to the abandoned house under cover. Eben decides everyone should go to the police station. He provides a diversion by running to his grandmother's house to retrieve an ultraviolet lighting system. He didn't think it was going to work, but because Stella did, that's why he decided to do it.
Mm, 'cause
Eh,
they're grow lights. Let's
yeah, growing
Granny was growing
marijuana
some weed.
for her glaucoma. Was it
No,
glaucoma or
cancer.
cancer? For
Was
cancer.
it helps her with her cancer. I mean, it helps her feel better.
Yeah.
So, I think it was Jake was like, "Yeah, she's got the grow lights." And it was like UV, and it was like, "Ooh, okay." And then as soon as he figures out it works, they figure out how to cut the power again.
Yes.
And I'm
Um,
like, "Dude, haven't don't you have car batteries?
yeah.
You can hook it up to a car bat and just walk around burning these motherfuckers." But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, because this is the only time, like, okay, so Eben makes it to the house, jumpstarts the generator, and turns the light on the vampires who have followed him. Actually, it was just one. He hideously burns a female vampire
Mhm.
named Iris, forcing Marlowe to kill her. Were there mistakes in this movie plot hole? There were a few, but so minor. This one was blatant and stupid. Like Eben knew they were going to shut off the generator, and
Yeah,
apparently it took all 20 vampires to go do it.
apparently.
Not one could wait at the door ready to bolt it and kill him. That was the only time where I'm like, really?
He's like,
Uh,
"They're about to cut off the power." And then
yeah.
I was like, "If you know this, why are you just sitting there?"
Yeah, put it up against a chair and run away. Yeah. All right. Eben escapes the house, followed by the vampires. Bo comes to the rescue, killing many of the vampires with his backhoe. I don't know if this was stupid or if some people were like, this doesn't make sense. I didn't care. It was an awesome scene of the vampires trying to get Bo riding this fucking backhoe.
Yes, but at the same time, I think Bo was just kinda like,
Because
because
he
at
wanted to
this
leave a
point
bunch of times
yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah, he
fight.
just wanted to get the fuck out. He was
Yeah.
like, "I'm done now, like, I don't wanna do this." But I think at this point, they've been hidden for, like, 17 or 18 days.
Yes, it was quite a while.
Yeah, it was a while,
Yeah.
and I mean, if you're
Cold,
with the same
hungry.
people, cold, hungry, unbathed,
Yeah.
pooping in a corner because you
Yeah.
can't
Where are they?
flush,
Yeah. Where are they? Yeah, exactly.
like, you're not although I will say this, Stella's hair throughout this entire thing looks exceptionally clean.
Yeah. Actually, Stella looked great.
She looked amazing through this entire thing. A couple people not so much.
Yeah.
Stella, fresh,
Yeah.
so fresh. But anyways, I digress. Um, but yeah, no, I can understand Bo is just like, "You know what? Eben keeps running out there and doing this shit. And you could see he's kind of like, it's my turn now. And he was just kind of resigned.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I get it. So he just takes his little machinery out there and has a good time with his shotgun.
Oh, it's cutting them in half and
Oh,
heads
yeah,
are being blown
like,
off.
rolling over them, like, breaking their bones. I'm like, "Yes."
And I really like Mike Boone Jr., the guy from Sons of Anarchy that played
Mm,
Bo. And then he crashes into a hotel and then ignites a box of dynamite using road flares, trying to kill himself. His ploy is unsuccessful, though, as Bo lives through the blast and Marlowe crushes his skull. But it gives Eben the time to make it to the police station. I was hoping that he would have made a good one liner here.
yeah,
Yeah. Because
but
he did say just before he blew himself out, like, "You're not eating me," and then he blew
yeah,
him, but
and then you
not
see
to
he's still
die.
alive, and you're like, "Oh,
Oh, that
buddy."
sucks.
But then I have a moment of, "But he still got his wish because they just crushed his skull
Yeah, they didn't
and left him they didn't eat him, so I
I
was like,
didn't
"Oh."
remember, so I'm like, "Oh, do they?" I couldn't remember if they
No.
tortured him a bit. No, it was pretty quick.
No, it was literally like the guy had just said a few words to him, Marlowe, like, stood on his neck, cracked his like, just kinda crushed his head or his neck, and that was it.
Yeah, they should have
And
had
I was
him
like,
dragged off and then saying something like it's gonna be slow and
"Yeah, I
to
know."
really bring that dread thing, but yeah, he didn't
But
have to
that's
suffer
it
long.
was like a moment because
Yeah,
you have this hope while he's taking out all the vampires.
yeah, yeah,
You have
you
this
know he's
hope,
not gonna, but you have the hope.
but then you see him driving into the hotel and you're like, "Oh, no, I don't think he's gonna make it out of this." But you're still kinda hopeful, but then he gets out the box of dynamite and you're like, "Oh, we're done now."
Yeah.
But he only waits until, like, a couple vampires got in there, and then he lights it up, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna wait for more vampires." "Oh, okay," and then you're
I
like,
don't think any of
"Aw."
them died. I think just a couple caught on fire.
No, they caught on fire. There were,
Yeah.
like, 3 that were on fire, but, when it goes up, you're like, "Goodbye, Bo. You did well." And then he crawls out of it, and I was like, "Oh, no, Bo." It was an emotional roller coaster. This entire, like, Bo scene was just it was a lot.
Um, there okay, so at the police station, the wounded member Carter Davies turns into a vampire. He tells the group of the death of his wife and children. He longs to be with them and is horrified at the prospect of living forever, never to see them in the afterlife. Did you notice Eben referred to Carter as it? Like it told us what it wanted?
Yeah.
Yeah, so once he was a vampire, he wasn't human, and
Mhm.
I this was kind of a sad part even for me. I did like this character and that whole story about the and not wanting to live forever. I'm like, "Oh, poor Carter."
Did you hear in the beginning of the movie, they
They were
ask him
asking about his
when
wife
his
and kids coming,
family when are
and
they
he's like,
coming?
"Ah, when they're ready, they'll come."
Yeah, and then you get to this scene and you're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he didn't even wanna admit that they were dead."
Yeah.
But now that he's a vampire, he's all like, "I don't wanna spend eternity without them.
Yeah.
Take me out, because at least I could pretend that she was just at her sister's." And I was like, "That's a lot for that's a lot for a horror movie, guys." I was like, "That's fucking beautiful, but also heartbreaking.
With
Thanks."
with some shred of humanity left, he asks Eben to end it. Eben complies and beheads him. Um, yeah.
Also, can we talk about how we don't see his death?
Yeah. Like,
Just
that's
so
to distinguish
yeah,
the humanity part of it, yeah.
also because he
Which
asked for it.
yeah, because again, better man than me because you wouldn't have found out I was a vampire until I was eating you. "Oh, shit, Jimmy's a vampire," as I'm gnawing on your fucking
So what
leg.
you're saying is if the apocalypse ever comes, if I see you
Yeah,
anywhere, I'm
don't
just taking
wave,
off. I'm gonna be like,
don't
"Nope."
no.
Then part of my group's gonna be like, "But that group has" "Nope, you don't wanna go there.
"He has guns and all." "No, we don't want
Nope,
any part of that guy."
nope, don't do it. You go die."
Yeah. I'll even give you one of those look like, I know. I get
Yeah.
it. I
We're
get it."
gonna we're gonna make eye contact, and I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Nope," and
I'm
turn
I
around.
get it.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so 2 more weeks pass. What are they eating? And that's I made a note.
Canned food.
Where are they doing number 1 and where are they doing number 2?
Well, it's funny because when day 18 pops up, I'm like, "Hold up a second. They've been going for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
They don't look that dirty. Their
Mm-mm.
hair is not that stringy, some of them. Some of them are looking a little rough, some of them are not." And I'm like,
No.
"I don't like the inconsistency." But I'm also like, because when Wilson's dad, Isaac, goes to the bathroom. They're like, "Okay, but remember, you can't flush." And I'm like, "Is
No.
everybody just randomly pooping in toilets and then not flushing? Because I don't know if I can handle that. Or because you can't go outside and dig a hole."
Yeah, by day 2, it'd be like, "Oh, this bathroom's gross."
I'm like, God bless. That's also why I didn't blame Bo for being like, I'm just going to drive into this hotel and light myself on fire. Cause I was like, dude, I probably would too after 18 days of smelling other people's poop.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. None of that, my friends. None of that. But yeah, at 18, and then they go even further, and you're just like, I think they were just going from kind of place to place, grabbing supplies as they could. And they've been eating just canned food,
yeah.
sitting around smelling each other's BO.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every house would probably have some deodorant sticks. I mean, you
There's not
could.
enough deodorant in the world to cover up
No,
4 weeks of
no.
being unwashed.
Yeah, it'd be gross.
So
S-
gross.
Stella and Evan find his deputy Billy signaling them with a flashlight from across the street. Evan and Stella make it to Billy's house. When the vampires had attacked, Billy killed his wife and daughters, but his gun jammed when he tried to commit suicide. Stella and Evan take him back to the station house. Evan was mad at him actually for killing his wife and kids.
Mhm.
I'm assuming he and his wife talked about it. I hope. Let's hope it wasn't just his random decision while they were sleeping. Um,
No, I feel like it was.
oh yeah, it might have been. And you kind of get it that you don't want your kid like after seeing that Main Street massacre.
No, like, I understand,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah, it was a heavy moment in
yeah,
the movie.
and Eben did not take it well,
Yeah.
which I think may have been I was like, "You have trauma about, like, families and being hurt by a family member, because obviously he doesn't have parents.
No.
He's kind of raising his
His
grandmother probably raised him, and
Yeah,
then
and he's
he's raising
turned
his
into
little
his brother.
brother. So I'm like, I think there's something deeper there, and it also explains why he doesn't wanna have kids
Yeah.
with his wife, because that was their whole reason for not staying together. She left
Yeah.
because of that, so I was like, I feel like if this movie wasn't so long already, I'm like, "Can we find out what happened there?"
A little backstory.
I'm a little curious now, but I'm also just nosy, and I wanna know everything, so I mean, I'm like, "Hmm."
Because I kind of get why Evan was upset at him, but I did understand why Billy wanted to not have it to risk that horror
Yeah.
of his, yeah, and so he shot them. I wanted to do that to a couple of my kids the other day, and they weren't even vampires. They were just pissing me off.
Jesus! You're not allowed to say that.
Say what exactly? I didn't really say anything.
All of a sudden, someone's gonna come knocking on your door and be like, "Sir, we'd like to speak to your children. Are they still alive?"
I think so.
"Let's go check the woods.
Yeah, we have
You
to.
walk ahead of me. We just gotta get something out of the safe. It's fine."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're down here in the basement. Come on, I'll show you. Um, there they learn that the others have made it to the Utilidor. There we go.
Yes.
That's what it is. Utilidor. That's what it was called. A power station that controls the oil pipeline, which is the only structure that still has power. Evan, Stella, and Billy begin to sneak towards the Utilidor. Soon the members spot a figure moving towards them. They soon realize it's a young girl. Stella stops to rescue the young girl, Gail, who is being stalked by the vampire Zuriel. Okay, for those that are listening and never seen this movie or don't remember, none of these names are used in the movie. They're
Yeah.
these are the names from the comic book characters, and they were in the script. So Evan and Billy try to distract him while Stella gets the girl to safety. Instead, Billy and Evan are separated. They both eventually make it to the Utilidor, but another vampire follows Billy inside. Evan is happy to see the rest of the survivors have made it alive, which by now is the diner woman, Jake,
Mhm.
the very smart and my spiritual animal, Denise. That's it, right? It's only the three of them. And then
I think so,
Evan and
yeah.
Billy are there.
Yeah.
Okay. The vampire attacks Billy, ripping into his neck and dazing him. When the vampire turns to attack Evan, Billy gets up and knocks it into the gears of the Utilidor's pump, shredding the creature. Billy's arm gets caught in the gears as
Mhm.
well and his entire forearm is completely gone. I won't lie, that looked like it hurt.
Yes.
Like that looked fucking painful and gory.
It looked incredibly painful, although I gotta say, that FX,
Oh, it's
like,
great.
it was so good. It
Yeah,
was you see the bone poking out and then the blood squirting, and it was like, "That's good. I
yeah,
like
for those
that."
listening, if you haven't seen it or if you don't remember it, yeah, they don't hide anything. There's
Yeah,
no
no.
very rarely do they cut away from like, yeah, you saw the blood coming out, you saw the bone, you saw
Mhm.
muscle. Yeah, it was like, and
They
it
went
looked
for it.
ooh. Billy screams in pain as Eben tries to calm him down. Eben then realizes that Billy's screams become vampiric shrieks. Eben is forced then to kill Billy with an axe, beheading him. Yeah, this is a really gory movie because again, they showed when he chopped his head, he didn't get it in one swing, and they show it.
No.
It took a couple swings.
Actually, I don't think any of the beheadings were one swing.
No, not even the little girl.
No,
It's
it
like,
was
come
all
on,
multiple
Jake,
chops.
put your
But
back
that's
into it.
realistic. Unless you're
Yes.
working with a machete,
Yeah.
with an axe, you're never gonna get a one swing chop, like, clean
Unless
decapitation.
unless you're a man's man like me. One swing. I'm on swing 6.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like,
The
I'm pretty
the little
sure
kids, the little girls
between the
yelling
2
at
of
me.
us, I'd probably get that head off first. I just heard that. Anyways.
Yes, you are correct. Between the 2 of us, you would be. Well, it depends.
Yeah.
Um, the vampire attacks no, where am I? Billy screams in pains and
Yep.
beheading. Yes, yeah, they show everything.
Also, his beheading, can we point out that he wasn't fully like, it was hanging off by the skin and, like, a little bit of muscle, his
Yeah,
head?
it
Yeah,
took a
it
couple
didn't fully come
swings.
off and
No,
roll. No,
no,
no, it was just hanging
lopsided.
there.
Yeah, and it looked gross,
It was
but
so
it
gross.
looked very cool.
Yes.
The sun is due to rise in a few hours. The vampires decide to burn down the town to cover their tracks, to preserve the thought that they don't exist. Stella radios Eben that she and the young girl are hiding under an abandoned truck across the street from the Utilidor. The flames rapidly approaching them, realizing he cannot beat the vampires as a human. Eben injects himself with Billy's infected blood so he can fight them as a vampire. I totally forgot about this part.
I knew he became a vampire, I just didn't remember how.
See, I
Like,
totally forgot. For
yeah,
some reason, I thought Eben survived. I was a little pissed because once he
I
did that, I'm like, he's not making it, is he?
it's funny though because of this entire movie, one of the scenes that I remember the best is him and Stella at the end. See, I
Yes,
was
and see,
so
I
the scene that I
forgot
remember
that.
the scene that I remembered steadily through the years was him and Stella at the end.
Yeah, I
So I
forgot it.
knew he survived
To
to
the end.
there.
Yeah,
But and I knew he had become a vampire, like, I remembered that, but I didn't remember how. I thought it happened during a fight, and it was, like, an accidental bite or whatever, and then when I saw this scene, I was like, "Oh." Yeah, that feels very ebony.
yeah. He and Marlowe fight a vicious battle. As the battle comes to a close, Marlowe charges Eben as Eben throws a punch. The punch, empowered by Eben's vampiric super strength, runs through Marlowe's mouth and out the back of his head, killing him. Leaderless, with the sun about to rise, the other vampires disappear. Great final battle.
It
Wasn't
was.
overly spectacular, it's very centralized, but it was good.
It was a good fight, and it was
Yeah.
an honest fight, like, they both got licks in, and they both, did the fight. I'm going to point out, though, Stella pissed me off at this thing because she's stuck under the thing with this girl, Gail.
Yeah, she was supposed to run.
She's supposed to run. Jake says, "Run now." And then you look up and she's still there. I was
Yeah.
like, "Girl, you were told to run.
Yeah, you're told to
You
run.
have a child with you. Get to safety." But no, but that's fine.
Eben and Stella watch the sunrise together, with Stella rests on Eben's shoulder. They share one last kiss. Stella holds Eben tightly in her arms as the light of sun brightens. His body begins to burn and he lets out a blood curdling scream. Seconds later, he dies. Actually, it's more than a couple seconds. His body
Mhm.
turned to ash. The end of the film is marked as Stella closes her eyes, cradling Eben's ashen corpse. It's not a happy ending. The vampires,
No.
most of them got away.
Mhm.
Horrible fucking ending. I mean, it was a great ending but Eben and Billy talk about bringing their wives to that spot on their first dates and they end up back there.
Yeah.
I just wanted Josh Hartnett not to die.
It was not a happy ending,
No,
but it
not at
was a
all. But
good
it was a good
ending.
ending. Very good ending.
Yeah.
Um, and that is our movie. Okay, so a little different. The anticipation, pre-watch, post-watch. No, post would be after.
Correct.
Fuck. To
I was
think when
waiting
I
to see
met
what you
you
were
at film
trying to
school, I
say.
wanted to be a director. Oh fuck, I'd still be on Grizzly 7 by now. All getting substantially worse. It wasn't long after doing film school that I did not want to become a director.
Understandable.
Yeah. But yeah, so post watch, my anticipation was pretty high. Like I was thinking about watching it the next day.
Mm.
How about your anticipation for it?
Um, pre-watch or post-watch?
No, like
Before we watched
after the Wednesday before we watched it.
Oh, before we
Pre-watch.
watched
I'm
it?
sorry, pre-watch.
Yeah,
Jesus
because you said
Christ.
post-watch, and I was like, "No, no, no, I get it." Because even post-watch, I still wanna watch it.
Yeah,
But
pre-watch.
pre-watch,
Yes, your
I was like
anticipation.
I had a little bit of a reservation because I do really remember loving this movie, and I do feel like I would still love it, but I was like, I don't wanna ruin it." So I was excited to watch it because I was like, it had been a while,
Yeah,
and because it's not exactly unless you wanna rent or buy, it's not streaming anywhere for free, so I was like,
no. But
you really
yeah,
have to jump in, but I was like I was excited to watch it. I was
yes,
just
I was.
nervous.
See, and I was almost willing to bet money after we went all through the stuff and watched the trailer. So I was pre-watch. I was very excited. I wanted to watch it like the next day. But what's your score? Buy it, rent it, stream it, skip it, and if you can add like a full price sale on
Okay,
beside it.
because this one if you like gore and you can really handle gore and a horror movie, buy it. If you're not sure if you can handle the gore, but you like horror, rent it. So basically pay for this movie because it's worth it.
Right. Okay, my score. I love 30 Days a Night. It was well acted. It was well shot. It was very atmospheric. The tone and look was amazing. It was very gory, which I love. There was nothing I hated. A couple of eye rolls, but like the one for sure that I said, if there was other ones, I've already forgotten them. 30 Days of Night has a simple story, and that is one of its many strengths. Sun goes down for 30 days, vampires come, humans need to survive. That's it. The vampires are cruel. The humans react like humans would. There are no real heroes. I mean, Josh Hartnett is the hero, and at the end, he does something heroic, but basically through the whole movie, it's just people trying to survive. There are gory kills, some jump scares, a couple of humorous spots, although this movie is not that type of horror, it's not a comedy. Some complained it was long. I did not feel that at all. I was enjoying it way too much.
It did not feel an hour and 53 minutes.
No.
Not at all.
In fact, this could have been a 10-episode TV series with
Oh.
this director and crew and cast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I don't know if this is my favorite vampire movie, but it did make me wonder why I have not seen it in so long. I rented this movie and am now kicking myself for not buying it. Buy it. It's worth buying at regular price. While I would buy the digital, I actually might get the Blu-ray or 4K just for the extras and like in that trivia, that day-night filming, the salt being used as snow. Yeah, this is worth buying. I will watch this again and again and a few more times after that. I thought it was awesome.
I debated actually buying or renting it for this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I remember loving it so much. Worst comes to worst, it sits in my Apple TV
Yeah.
thing next to Weekend at Bernie's. It's fine. So I paid the $14.99 and I bought it. And I'm
Oh,
so
did you
glad
buy
I
this
did.
one?
I bought it, yeah.
You bought it? Yeah.
Because I was
I
like, do I buy
rented
it or
it.
do I rent it? And I was like, you know what? Let me buy it. Because I have a feeling. I think I'm gonna want to watch it again. And literally when I finished watching it, I was like, I think I want to watch it again tomorrow.
Yeah, it was
Like it
good.
was, yeah, I forgot how good it was. Like I remember loving it, but I was like, because I noticed halfway through the movie, it was about halfway through, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And not from the gore, but like I'm nervous for these people. I want them to live, damn it.
Yeah, see, I rented. I only paid like three or $4 for it, but
Yeah.
I should have bought it. And I think it's Anaconda's fault because I bought Anaconda, which I would have been kind of okay with if it came with extras, but it didn't. And I think that's
Yeah.
kind of shied me away from buying.
Totally understandable.
All right. We hope you enjoyed our review of 30 Days of Night. Please check us out on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or Instagram. And if you like to watch our live recordings, we are live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook or Twitter. Or you can watch the podcast in full on YouTube every Sundays or listen to a new episode every Sunday, wherever you got this episode. Thank you for listening to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Until the next movie we remember liking.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking.